Nancy Guthrie's sudden disappearance from her Tucson home at the age of 84 sent shockwaves through her family and captivated the public. For decades, she had been known as the strong, dependable matriarch who quietly held her family together after the death of her husband. To her children and grandchildren, she was a symbol of resilience, grace, and unwavering devotion. Yet in the days following her disappearance, an unexpected clue revealed that the woman everyone thought they knew had been living a secret life for more than 30 years. What investigators uncovered would challenge everything her family believed about her. A mother known for strength. After her husband Charles died from a heart attack. In 1989, Nancy found herself raising 3 teenagers alone in Tucson, Arizona. She was only 47 at the time, yet she quickly became the steady foundation her children needed during a painful period of loss. Friends described her as calm and practical, the kind of person who rarely complained no matter how difficult life became. She worked part-time as a bookkeeper for local businesses while also volunteering at church and supporting her children's ambitions. To outsiders, Nancy appeared to embody quiet strength and traditional family values. A household built on stability. Nancy's modest ranch-style home in the Catalina foothills became a place of warmth and stability for her children, Savannah, Annie, and Cam. She maintained routines that gave them comfort after their father's passing. Sunday dinners, school events, and church gatherings filled their weeks. Despite financial pressures, Nancy ensured that her children had opportunities to pursue education and careers. Her dedication shaped their futures, especially Savannah, who often credited her mother's determination for inspiring her own success. In every public story shared by the family, Nancy appeared as the steadfast widow who devoted herself entirely to her children. The envelope that changed everything. 5 days after Nancy vanished in February 2026, a mysterious envelope arrived at Savannah's New York residence. There was no return address and no explanation for why it had been sent. Inside was a faded photograph that immediately caught her attention. The image showed a much younger Nancy standing beside an unfamiliar man outside a small cafe in Santa Fe, New Mexico. On the back of the photograph was a short message written in unfamiliar handwriting. She deserved more than secrets. Ask about Elena. The cryptic note instantly raised questions that none of Nancy's children could answer. Questions among the siblings. That evening, Savannah contacted her siblings through a tense video call. Each of them stared at the photograph, trying to make sense of what they were seeing. Annie wondered aloud who the man might be, while Cam struggled to understand why their mother would have been in Santa Fe in 1992. The date was only 3 years after their father's death, a time when they believed Nancy was fully focused on helping them heal. The mention of Elena confused them even more. None of the siblings had ever heard their mother use that name before. The birth of Elena. Over time, Nancy created an alternate identity for herself in Santa Fe. Victor began calling her Elena, inspired by a character from a Mexican novel they both admired. Under that name, Nancy explored a side of herself she had long suppressed. In Tucson, she was the disciplined, dependable mother who rarely took risks. In Santa Fe, she became someone different, an adventurous woman who attended gallery events, discussed art late into the night, and painted her own landscapes. The alias allowed her to separate these two worlds, ensuring that her family never suspected her hidden life. A double life takes shape. By the mid-1990s, Nancy's visits to Santa Fe had become a regular pattern. Every few months, she would drive the long desert highway to spend a weekend with Victor. During those trips, she helped him manage his small gallery and gradually became involved in its operations. She even opened a modest bank account under the name Elena Ramirez to support the business during difficult periods. Though the amounts were small, they represented a deeper commitment to the life she was building outside her family's knowledge. Balancing family and secrecy. Throughout these years, Nancy carefully maintained her responsibilities at home. She continued supporting her children as they entered adulthood and began building careers of their own. Savannah started working in television journalism, Annie pursued her education, and Cam searched for his own path. Nancy attended family gatherings and celebrated milestones with the same warmth she always had. Yet beneath that stability, she carried the weight of a secret relationship and a hidden identity that had quietly grown stronger over time. The secret world in Santa Fe? In Santa Fe, Elena was known as Victor's quiet partner and creative collaborator. She organized art classes for neighborhood children, helped plan gallery exhibitions, and occasionally displayed her own paintings under pseudonyms. Those who knew her there described her as thoughtful and passionate about art. Few asked questions about her background because Elena rarely shared personal details. When people in the Santa Fe community wondered where she came from, she simply mentioned having family back east and left it at that. Cracks in the carefully built life. As the years passed, maintaining two identities began to take a toll. Nancy grew older and her health gradually declined, making the long drives between Tucson and Santa Fe more difficult. Victor later told investigators that they sometimes argued about the secrecy surrounding their relationship. He encouraged Nancy to tell her children the truth, believing they might eventually accept the situation. Nancy, however, feared that revealing her hidden life would damage the image her family had always held of her as the faithful widow who never moved on. The fear that something was wrong. In the years leading up to her disappearance, Nancy reportedly became increasingly anxious. According to Victor, she mentioned strange occurrences in Tucson, unexpected phone calls that ended abruptly, and a car she believed was following her. At first, these worries seemed like harmless paranoia related to stress or medication. But investigators later began to wonder whether someone had discovered her secret life and was using it against her. Financial records revealed an unusual transfer of $5,000 to an unknown account in Mexico shortly before she disappeared. A family confronts the truth. When authorities shared Victor's testimony with Nancy's children, the emotional impact was overwhelming. Savannah struggled to reconcile the mother she had always admired with the hidden life that had just been revealed. Annie reportedly broke down while looking through old family photographs, realizing that many of the trips their mother had taken over the years were not what they had seemed. Cam reacted with anger, questioning why Nancy had chosen secrecy instead of trusting them with the truth. Conclusion: a mystery still unfolding. Nancy Guthrie's disappearance remains an unresolved mystery, but the discovery of her decades-long double life has transformed the investigation. What once seemed like the case of a missing elderly woman has become a complex story about identity, secrecy, and the hidden corners of a person's life. To her family, Nancy was always the dependable mother who sacrificed everything for them. Yet in Santa Fe, she was Elena, a woman who pursued art, love, and freedom beyond the boundaries of her responsibilities. Whether her disappearance is connected to that secret world remains the question investigators are still trying to answer,